Welcome to the Lindsay and Tony podcast, where we talk about spirituality, business, and life experiences.
In this podcast, we're bringing our private conversations to you.
We believe that it's through discussion, action, and reflection that true change occurs.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 54, 4 Ways to Attract True Love. In this episode, you're going to learn all of the things that you could be doing that's blocking you from attracting true love, and then a few strategies that you could implement into your life that will allow the process to be effortless. I hope everybody enjoys the show.
Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited that you're here. Today's episode is all about 4 ways to attract true love. And right now, we're actually in the week of Valentine's Day. So whether you're listening to this live or you're listening to this months later, this is useful no matter what. So we're excited to talk about it.
We are excited to talk about it because we actually lived everything we're going to be talking about in this episode. And those are my favorite episodes to do, is like the topics that we actually have experience in, because I feel like we have a lot of insights that we could give people.
Yeah, we always tell little stories in between. The only things that we'll talk about are things that we've actually been through, so we can help by giving our experiences. And this is definitely one of those things that everyone asks questions about to us, so we're excited to talk about it.
Right, this is one of the most common, I think, desires that people have, is to want to have that loving relationship, to want to get married for some people, and so here we go. So should we talk about number 1 here? So number 1 is,
don't let your past relationships be moments of regret. So it's really easy to kind of go back in time and to regret your past relationships, whether you thought that they were negative situations or you started beating yourself up and thinking, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this differently?
right, because every single day you could beat yourself up, and no matter how good you are at whatever you're doing, you could be like, oh, I could have done that differently. So in a lot of us, we have horrible relationships from the past, to where some of us might have cheated, some of us might have said mean things to our past, boyfriend or girlfriends in high school. There's different things that we've done that we've regret.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you could either live in that pain. We did an episode, actually last episode 53, on you could either be, live in victim mode, or you could authentically express yourself. Same thing goes here with relationships. If you've messed up in the past, you could either be a victim of it and keep telling that same old story, or you could find meaning in it, and you could figure out, wait, what can I learn from this situation, and how can I use this to help other people, to help my kids and nephews and nieces and everybody everybody that I come into contact with, and
for future relationships too. So one of the things that I really like to do is, when I'm reflecting on anything in my life, picking the points that actually have meaning and are really positive that I like. So you might find an old relationship that's in your life that you think, ooh, I liked that sense of humor. I don't want to be with them, but I like that piece of sense of humor. I would like that in my next relationship. So focus in on that energy. If there's something that was disappointing for you, like Tony said, treat it like a lesson and really take it as, okay, there's a reason that happened. I learned from it. I went through the pain, and now I'm going to continue to keep on moving. I won't do that again.
Exactly.
So that's
and it's
really
all about standing in your power, right? Which you always talk about.
Yeah.
And it really just means using everything in your life as something that could turn your power on that you have within you, to pull more of yourself out. Because that's what things do, right? Negative situations, when they happen to us, they either make us go down the negative side and go down a vortex, or they pull more of ourselves out to where, like we're talking about in relationships, if you wanted to be more of whatever it was in your past relationship, will just be more of that in this relationship. So if you want to be more present when you're having dinner with your wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, well, in your next relationship, be more present and just look her in the eyes or him in the eyes and be there. Because that could have been, it sounds so simple, but something like that could save a relationship. It really could.
No, that's so true. And it's making me think, as we're talking about this, that guys and girls, I feel like they communicate totally differently and they think differently, definitely. I feel like there is, what is that book? Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I haven't read that since high school, but
I've
I felt like,
never read it.
yeah, I read it like years ago. It was given to me and I could relate to it at the time. I can't think of the details of it right now, but I believe that we could all evolve and we can all think on the same page if we want to. But I'm finding working with clients and different things like that, I think women replay more things in their head. Do you? I know you
I would think
that.
well, I think that in general they do with everything.
Yeah.
Like, not to stereotype or anything, but women tend to think more than
Overthink.
men and overthink. You know, because I feel like when you're highly intuitive too, which women are in general, it seems they're a little bit more more tuned into that side.
Maybe into
That
their
causes
feelings.
you to, in your feelings, in your emotions, that causes you to overthink too, because you're reading deep into a lot of things. So
Yeah.
you're seeing the truth. To where men, they're just like surface, not, this is general speaking. I don't like to put everybody in one box.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, like,
Yeah, you're more emotional than me.
I'm more different. Everybody's
But
different.
I replay things repeatedly and you don't.
True, yeah.
And you're like, why are you still bringing this up? And
that is true. And maybe everybody has their different reasons. You have to go through that and let that out. I don't know where you're going with that, but...
Well, because
Yeah.
I think men and women think differently. And
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. I think that that's important because this goes back to not regretting the past. So if you could repeatedly repeat the past in your head from these past relationships, and it actually stops you from moving forward.
Yeah, so the next time that you have that negative thought that comes in your head with something, or with some circumstance or whatever happened, you can just turn it to, it's simple. It's like, this is like kindergarten stuff, I think. Like, just change it to the opposite of that thought. What would you want to do in that situation next time?
Yeah.
Or what could you do to prevent that? Maybe you could see intuitively all the things that led to that specific thing, and you could be like, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So to get specific, you and your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend had a real big fight, but you saw these little fights, boiling up over 6 months' time, and you knew that you should have stopped it, but you didn't.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I know we're spending a lot on number one, but this is important too, because what you're saying is to actually change that story.
Yes.
Well, you can actually create an imaginary story in your mind of how that would have been fixed and acted out in your head.
Exactly.
Because that can release some sort of energy too. And
It
shift
can,
something.
because you're growing, and like, if you're coming full circle, and you come back and you're like, wait, next time that happens, I'll do this.
Yeah.
Well, then now, so you already went through that in your mind. They say if you go there in your mind, you'll go there in the body. It's true. So once you go through that process in your mind, then next time something like that, that didn't sound right, but something like that happens, you'll already know what to do. So you're not going to be reactive in those moments and do something that you could regret too, or that you might have done in the past that didn't produce a result that you wanted.
And I feel like stuff has come up in our relationship where it's come up before in the past for me, and I changed the way that I was responding. So if there was like a conversation or, okay, let me stop. Why am I reacting like that? It actually helped me to think about how I used to react when I was, in my teens.
Right,
So,
if you fall into those old habits. Should we go to number 2?
Yes.
All right, so number 2, so how do you attract true love? Stop looking for it.
That's a big one.
Stop looking for it and just start loving your life. As simple as that sounds, stop thinking, oh, I have to go out to a club every Friday to meet somebody, or I got to go to church to meet somebody, or I have to go here. Quit putting all these rules in your head. Stop trying to make it happen in your head. This would be my excuse. Some people might have different opinions. I think if you just focus on doing what you love doing, this is exactly what I did before I met you, Lindsay. I can remember telling my friends, like, at the time, like, I was single for about 4 years, and I did not want a girlfriend. I didn't want one. I was open to having one, and I told my friends, hey, the perfect girl is out there for me. She's spiritual. She's going to believe in the law of attraction, all of these things. And I felt it, but while I did that, I didn't sit there and dwell on it. Like, only if the topic came up, I would say that. I'd reaffirm that. But I stayed busy loving my life. Like, I stayed busy doing hobbies like playing wiffle ball, playing sports, basketball, things that I enjoy doing. And I feel like when we focus on that, you'll naturally either one, end up meeting your future husband or wife at one of those activities, or two, you're generating such good energy, such good loving energy within your soul, you're going to attract more energy that's like it. Goes with the law of vibration.
Yes, definitely. That's huge. And that's exactly how I felt. I didn't want to meet anyone. And Tony and I met. I was big into traveling, and actually what we're doing right now, traveling, reading, going to spiritual events like crystal bowl meditation, doing a lot of things for myself, getting massages, reflexology, acupuncture, really just enjoying the moment at that time, and spending that time on focusing on what I really wanted to do the majority of the time. So that's something that's really big.
Right.
And
so,
yeah, there was something about that. There was something, where you said stop looking. So some people might think, well, should I be on a dating app? I mean, I've never been on a dating app, so I don't have experience with that. We're not saying not to go out and go on dates. Like, that's not what we're saying. But we're saying to stop getting fixated on trying to find the one. When you're so focused on the one and you are focused on, I need to find someone, it puts out a whole different desperate energetic spin on finding the person. And I really feel like we're not finding the people. We're actually bringing it in and attracting it. Like Tony said, the law of vibration. So they're going to be with you no matter what. You're not going to make a difference by not showing up at different places. You're not going to ruin your destiny, but not by not showing up someplace. They're going to be in your path no matter what.
Right, because we're all connected.
Yeah.
Right, so if you're allowing, I feel like it's like you said a lot of good things in there, but allowing, you're referring to like allowing it to happen. And when you're focused on generating the energy that you want to generate for yourself, then that's more than the allowing process, and time and space does not matter. It just only matters you getting in alignment. So it's all that, the whole alignment thing, getting into alignment, which Dr. Wayne Dyer talks a lot about, especially in his book, The Power of Intention. And it's a beautiful thing because when you're in alignment, you're going to attract the right person or the right people. And it may not even be your love life. This could just be like lifelong friends that you run into. Like, what was it, a month ago? I met a friend on the plane. He randomly sat next to me. I feel like he's a very deep thinker. We think a lot alike. I feel like we're going to be friends for a long time. And it randomly happened, but I feel like the more that you open yourself up and allow this process, it just starts to happen.
Yeah. And look at Tony and I. We were in 2 different states and we met.
That's
so
a huge, yes.
Really getting back to like the reality of how we met, it's crazy. And we did do an episode, I think it was in our for episode 1 where we talk about that story. So
yeah, we'll do a full episode about it where we go in detail so people could have that. But basically, we were 1,100 miles away. I was in St. Louis, Lindsay in Tampa.
And we met.
And Spirit brought us together. A lot of you know our story. If you don't, it's sprinkled throughout our podcast episodes.
Definitely.
Should we go to number 3? So number 3 is be happy for happy couples. So this is something that came natural to me.
It didn't come natural at one point for me.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably look back before high school, and it probably, I had moments where it wasn't natural. Yeah. But after high school, I could honestly say, I always remember being happy. It was just something that came natural. We all have those things to where you naturally do the most effective behavior. And in that way, I did the most effective behavior by, when I seen couples, it just made me happy. It made me happy to see happy couples. And I think this is huge. And you've probably heard this a lot. There's different memes that go around and all this, but this is very deep. And you can't lie to yourself on this one, right? You can't, just like you can't lie and say, oh, I'm happy. And if you're not really happy, you know that you're lying to yourself. So you have to genuinely be happy when you see a happy couple. That means like your brothers or sisters or your cousins or friends, or when you're out in public, genuinely feel that. So you said you had trouble with that before.
Well, yeah. So all of my life, I always get excited for other people when they're happy. Like, that's just how I am. I love seeing people happy and smile. I get upset thinking that someone's sad. But when Nick died, right after he passed away, I was really frustrated that I didn't have him to argue with. So when friends would come to me and say, oh, I'm arguing with this person, I kept on saying, well, you're lucky you have him to argue with right now. And then I would see people and it would make me feel sad to see them happy because I'm like, oh, I should have that right now with Nick being still here. So what ended up happening was as I started to really do the things that I wanted to do, like we talked about, reading the spiritual books, going and traveling and doing different things, I found myself being more happy for couples. But at the very beginning, it made me sad and it made me frustrated that I didn't have it.
That's an excellent point to bring up because yours was pretty traumatic what happened to you, but there's other people who it feels that traumatic to them what happened to them. So they might have had somebody that cheated on them or something that they really loved, and they're just carrying that with them. So this goes back to number one, not regretting what happened in the past relationships and finding healing in it, because if you're holding on to that pain, it's like you were doing. It's impossible for you to feel happy for happy couples. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are holding on a lot of pain from past relationships, whether it was with our communication or infidelity, or there's all different things. Maybe you didn't give your kids enough attention and that messed up the whole family dynamic or whatever it was.
Yeah, there's so many different ways. But it's such a good feeling to actually genuinely feel happy for people. Like that's our natural state, is to be happy ourselves, really.
It is.
So I think to get there, if you're in the place where you had something traumatic happen or you feel bitter, whatever it may be, take some time to really tune into yourself and figure out, like, am I happy with myself and where I'm at in my life? And I think that's going to be the thing that eliminates some of that emotional charge towards not being happy for people, because that's what I figured out for me was during that traumatic time that I had to really go inward in order for me to feel so much different. And that's why I attracted Tony. He was going to be there no matter what. We were going to be together, but that's something that's important. That was part of it. The timing always works out exactly how it's supposed to.
It does. Oh, and so test this out too. Another thing to add to that is test this out as you're going throughout your day and you see happy couples wherever you're at. Think about how that's making you feel and really tune into that.
Yes, that's a huge thing to figure out, because then you'll know if, I healed, that part of myself healed if I feel excited for other people.
Exactly. So let's go to number 4 on 4 ways to attract true love. Number 4 is?
You attract what you are, really. So that means you're vibrating. Every person in this world is vibrating at a certain frequency. And that's what you're going to attract to you. So if you're frustrated, the person that you're attracting doesn't have what you're looking for. Maybe they're needy. Well, look inward. Are you feeling needy? Are you feeling like you're latching onto other people? There's a reason for that too.
There is. This goes with animals too. This goes with everything. Your animals and your life partners, your kids, everybody around you, especially the people close to you, like that live with you, they're going to mirror you. They're going to mirror you in different ways. So they're here. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just, it is what it is. But they'll reflect the good things and the bad things.
I'm thinking about Romeo right now. I'm thinking he has these moments of being very independent and very needy and snuggly. So I feel like...
Is that you?
Yeah, I actually feel like that.
Because I don't feel like I'm needy at all.
I don't feel like I'm needy.
No, you're not. You're not. I mean, overall, you're not. We all have moments where...
Sometimes, you'll say to me, oh my gosh, Romeo needs something else right now. And then all of a sudden you look over at me and I want a smoothie because I'm busy doing something.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That kind of thing.
The mornings are definitely busy.
I think the food, that's what I'm needy with. Like, can I have a smoothie? Can I,
Yeah.
But it reminds me, going back to you attract what you are, it's making me think of the music. Remember when we first met, you started playing on the keyboard the song that just came through your soul?
That was like 2 months before we met.
Yeah.
It just started coming to me. And the lyrics were, I'm going to make it through to you.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was singing to, it sounds funny, but I knew that I was singing to my future wife. But it happened 2 months later. Yeah. And I feel like it was just like me intuitively on an unconscious level knowing that it was going to happen, and then kind of telling Lindsay's spirit, hey, I'm making it through to you.
And then when you played the song, it sounded so familiar to me. Like I felt like I felt it with my soul, where you just know.
Yeah, it's interesting. we're getting a little corny here, but no,
No,
I'm
this
just
isn't
joking.
corny. This is
I'm joking around.
anyone listening
I
to
know.
this
I'm just
believes
making
in
a
this.
joke. I know they do. I'm just joking around. But it really is true that you attract who you are. Like Lindsay literally is like the mirror of me in a lot of different ways, and you'll find that with your life partner. Once you get to know them at a deeper level, you're going to realize how much you have in common.
And how much you challenge each other, like being soulmates. You're going to be, it's going to be part of the lessons where you help each other strive to a different place too.
Definitely. And I feel like that's what happens. Everything happens for a reason. You're with the people that you're with for a reason. You meet the certain people you meet every day for a reason.
Yeah.
And the more aware we become, the more reasons we start to realize and we start to see. If we're not aware, we miss them. It's easy to miss.
Yeah, that's very true.
So this is number 4 is huge, and it goes with pretty much numbers 1 through 3. Is you become you attract what you are.
Yeah.
You attract what you are. So if you're holding on to grudges from the past, going back to number 1 with don't have regrets from the past. If you're holding on to those grudges from the past, well, that's still part of you.
Yeah.
And that's your vibration. So you're
you're
going to
putting
attract
out
that
that
again.
energy.
So some of you might be looking in your past 2 relationships or maybe 3, and you're like, wow, the same thing happened over and over if you analyzed it. And it's because maybe you didn't heal that part. So this is huge. This goes good, positive, and negative. So the better you become, the better people you're going to attract to you. And not only that, maybe you're going to be with the person you're with for the rest of your life, and maybe you both are going to grow a lot in the next year or 2. So the better you both become, you're just going to be able to love each other at a deeper level over time. So you could be with the same person you're with now, and in this moment it may not be how you want it to be, but the better you become, you're going to start pulling out more good out of each other.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm glad you brought that up, because some people listening are thinking, what if I'm already in a relationship right now? And what if I don't feel the same love that I felt before? And it's just repeating these numbers and going, so go back to number 1 and think, am I going back to a moment that we got in an argument? I'm holding on and holding that grudge. Think about how that is making you feel. So heal that too.
Yeah, go back to all of these numbers. Number 3, so maybe if you're not happy in your relationship, maybe you're going around you're mad at everybody else who is happy. So they all go together, whether you're single or if you're with somebody.
Right. I mean, we could talk about this for hours. There's so many different components of this, but this is just to sum it up for you.
It's just a start, just a little peek.
Yeah.
So
I think that's all that I could think of that we can go in for these main without overwhelming everyone. But I think just sticking with these 4 things, it sounds so simple, but really it takes time and energy that goes into it too. Yes. So we hope that you enjoyed this episode. Know that you have so much love within you. We're made of love, so you're going to attract it no matter what. You don't need to force it.
Right. There's no trying. If you try, you're putting out the try energy. You just be you, live your life. Pretty much.
That's true. Okay, guys, we will see you next episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.